Amos 3:3 said, can it work together except they both agree? It's a spiritual principle. There is a dimension of God's power that is tied to his principles. Obedience to that principle will naturally navigate the power of God, although all power belongs to God. But there's some dimension of God's power that he has shared within his principles, that no matter who you are, as long as you obey the principle, the power will naturally navigate its path towards you. You don't even have to like God for the power to begin to work in your life. As long as you are obeying that principle, the power of God that is tied to that principle will naturally navigate its path towards you. There is a power of God that is tied to unity. This is a principle that people in the dark world obey, and is working for them, and it's God's power. You think devil have any power? The power devil is using is God's power. Once have I spoken, twice have you heard. All power belongs to God. The power of unity is one of the most strongest power. That was why when the sons of men gathered together to build a tower of Babel, as they were building that tower, God had to come down to scatter their language. God did not kill them. He knows that there is a portion of power that cannot make for their destruction. So the only way I can destroy them is to divide them. There are some certain things that enemies will not achieve in your life if they are not united. That's why you can have legions of demons in one body and they are now fighting. As long as they are about to achieve a cause, they can be friends. So once an enemy come together in their unity, can cause you harm, they can destroy you because they are united. There is power in unity. So the Bible says, surely they must gather. Why? Because the principle. Their gathering can only scatter if you gather. You know, the Bible says, where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I'm there. So God can only scatter their gathering if you know how to gather your own gather. If you don't know how to gather, the God who is in the midst of those who gather cannot scatter the gathering of the evil ones. When James was captured, they slaughtered him. When they caught Peter, church united. It was based on the unity of the church that God now came. If the church had not united, Peter would have been. I want to tell you that some of the powers that are dominating your life is still persistent, is because the people that achieved that cause achieved it in unity. So you are trying to break free singularly by what was agreed on your life by spirit in unity. The only way you can be able to disintegrate what they have done is that you what? If the problem you are suffering came through the agreement, unity of persons to cause you pain, the way to scatter them is to unite. That's what the Bible said, do not forsake the gathering of what? Brethren. So there is some dimension of God's power, blessings, manifold of his presence that cannot be generated if you are not gathered. Some of you don't know that before you were born, elders of your father's house came together in agreement and agreed concerning your matter. They are dead, but you are still suffering what they agreed upon. If you don't know how to gather your own, to disagree with their agreement, you will still be the victim of their agreement. Because to scatter their agreement, you have to agree.